Although RC toys are now quite affordable, here are some tips to help you choose wisely and avoid wasting money. First, check whether it uses a 2.4 GHz frequency. It's not recommended to buy RCs that still use 27 MHz, 35 MHz, or 40 MHz, as the technology is outdated. The 2.4 GHz frequency offers longer range, more stability, faster response, and most importantly, if you're playing with friends or family, 2.4 GHz signals won't interfere with each other, meaning you can play together at the same time. On the other hand, if two people use 27 MHz at the same time, there will be interference. One remote might control both cars and vice versa, making it impossible to play together. So, check the box or product description for the frequency used and prioritize those that already use 2.4 GHz. Second, pay attention to the size or scale and also the design. Sometimes it's hard to judge the actual size of RC toys from pictures because there's nothing to compare them to. Here's a comparison with an average Asian man's hand as a reference. Choose according to your own preferences and need. Before buying, think about the type of terrain where the RC will be used most often. For example, if you plan to play on rocky or uneven roads, avoid getting a model that's too small or doesn't have suspension. It will easily get stuck on slightly uneven surfaces. On the other hand, if it's going to be used indoors, a smaller RC with a design suited for indoor use will be more fun to play with. Third, it's important to know that cheap RC toys usually don't use servos or proportional systems. This means the steering system is just on-off. There are only two positions, straight and fully turned. You can't steer gradually or adjust the steering angle precisely. Here's the difference between an RC that hasn't been fitted with a servo and one that has been upgraded with one. The same goes for forward and reverse speed. In cheaper models, it's also an on-off system, either full speed or not moving at all. You can't drive slowly. So set your expectations and budget accordingly. Even though they may look very similar in terms of appearance, sometimes the cheaper RC even looks better than the slightly more expensive one. RCs with a fully proportional system can cost twice as much as those using basic electronics. Fourth, pay attention to the RC car's battery. Usually, the product description will mention what type of battery it uses. It's recommended to choose one that uses a lithium-ion or LiPo battery, and also check whether a charger is included. Also take note of the battery voltage, as it affects the RC's speed. While not an absolute rule, based on personal testing of several different RCs, if it uses a 3.7 volt battery, the speed is typically around 7 to 8 km per hour. If it uses a 2S or 7.4 volt battery, it can reach 15 to 20 km per hour or more. With a 3S or 11.1 volt battery, it can go 30 km per hour or beyond. Lastly, for those who enjoy modifying, related to the second tip, check first whether spare parts are available for customization. The most common parts are wheels and tires. For 110 scale accessories, there's an abundance of options, but for other scales you'll need to check availability in your area. Semi-hobby RCs usually have a wide range of accessory products available, and the installation process is fairly easy. But if you're modifying an RC toy, you'll need to be more creative. For example, many low-cost RC toys use wheels that are glued or press-fitted onto the axle. So you may need to modify the axle or the alternative wheel you want to install. This is different from semi-hobby RCs, which already use hex hubs and allow for easy wheel swapping. Thank you for visiting QuickMix. Hopefully these 5 tips are helpful for those of you looking to buy an RC toy for your child, a relative, or yourself. If there are any other tips we might have missed, feel free to share them in the comments.